Welcome to our deep dive into Elektron's two newest sampling powerhouses. Today, we're exploring how the Digitakt II and the brand new Tonverk represent two very different philosophies in modern music creation. While both machines share Elektron's DNA, they're designed for completely different creative journeys. Think of this as comparing a sports car to an SUV. Both will get you where you need to go, but the experience and capabilities are worlds apart. Before we dive into the technical details, let's establish what we're dealing with here. The Digitakt II is essentially Elektron saying, let's take everything people loved about the original Digitakt and make it bigger, better, and more powerful. It's an evolution, a refinement of a proven formula. The Tonverk, on the other hand, is Elektron asking, what if we completely reimagined what a sampler could be? It's a revolution, introducing concepts that push the boundaries of traditional sampling workflows. The Digitakt II hit the market in April 2024 with a price tag of $999, positioning itself as the premium version of Elektron's most popular sampler. Fast forward to September 2025, and Elektron surprised everyone by announcing the Tonverk at €1,495, roughly $1,600. That's a significant price jump, but as we'll see, it's packing some serious technological innovations that justify the premium. The Tonverk also represents the debut of an entirely new platform architecture that will likely influence future Elektron releases. When you first lay eyes on these machines, the differences are immediately apparent. The Digitakt II maintains that familiar Elektron Digi-series aesthetic that users have come to love. It's compact, focused, and screams, "I'm here to make beats." The interface follows the tried-and-true layout that has made the original Digitakt so intuitive for electronic music production. The Tonverk takes a completely different approach. It's wider, more substantial, and has the presence of a professional workstation. This isn't just aesthetic choice. The expanded form factor accommodates significantly more functionality and represents Elektron's move toward more complex, studio-oriented instruments. The Digitakt II keeps things elegantly simple with its 16-track architecture. Each of these tracks is remarkably flexible. You can use any track for stereo samples, mono samples, or MIDI sequencing. This unified approach means you're never locked into a specific configuration. Need 10 sample tracks and 6 MIDI tracks today? No problem. Want to flip that around tomorrow? Just as easy. This flexibility has made the Digitakt series incredibly popular with live performers and doorless producers who need to adapt their setups on the fly. Every track gets the same treatment, the same effects options, and the same sequencing capabilities. The Tonverk approaches track architecture like a professional mixing console. You get 8 primary stereo audio tracks where your main sounds live, but then things get interesting. There are 4 additional bus tracks for sophisticated signal routing, 3 dedicated send effect tracks for spatial processing, and 1 master mix track for final output control. This might seem more complex at first glance, and it is. But this complexity serves a purpose. It allows for routing possibilities that simply aren't available on simpler architectures. You can send multiple tracks to the same reverb, create complex effect chains, and manage your mix in ways that mirror professional studio workflows. Let's talk numbers for a moment. The Digitakt II gives you 16 audio tracks versus the Tonverk's 8, which might seem like an advantage. But here's where it gets interesting. The Tonverk's 8 tracks are fully polyphonic, meaning each track can play multiple notes simultaneously like a traditional keyboard or piano. The Digitakt II, being rooted in drum computer philosophy, is primarily designed for single-hit samples, though it can handle some polyphonic work. When it comes to MIDI, both machines are incredibly capable, but they approach it differently. The Digitakt II can convert any of its 16 tracks to MIDI duty, while the Tonverk can use any track plus its 4 bus tracks for MIDI sequencing. One of the biggest complaints about the original Digitakt was its limited sample memory. The Elektron listened, and the Digitakt II comes with significantly expanded sample memory and internal storage. While Elektron hasn't published exact figures, users report being able to load substantially more samples and work with larger projects without running into memory constraints. The improved RAM allocation also means better real-time performance, and the addition of USB audio streaming opens up new possibilities for sampling directly from computer-based sources. This addresses one of the major workflow limitations that held back the original model. The Tonverk takes storage seriously with 5 GB of internal sampling memory, a substantial amount that reflects its professional aspirations. But perhaps more importantly, it includes an SD card slot for virtually unlimited expansion. This is particularly crucial given the Tonverk's focus on multisampling, where high-quality instruments can easily consume hundreds of megabytes. The dual USB-C ports aren't just for connectivity, they represent a modern approach to integration with computer-based workflows. Whether you're sampling from software instruments or transferring large sample libraries, the Tonverk is built for the contemporary studio environment. Both machines inherit Elektron's legendary sequencing capabilities, but with significant enhancements. The Digitakt II doubles the maximum pattern length to 128 steps, which opens up new compositional possibilities beyond the traditional 16 or 32-step loops that defined early electronic music. The Tonverk goes even further with 256 steps per track. This isn't just about longer patterns, it's about being able to create complex, evolving compositions that unfold over time. Both machines include individual track lengths, so you can create polyrhythmic masterpieces where different elements cycle at different rates. The Digitakt II keeps its sample engine focused and purposeful. The core SRC machine handles sample rate conversion and basic playback, while the recent addition of the slice machine opens up new rhythmic possibilities by allowing samples to be divided into up to 64 individual segments. This focused approach serves the Digitakt II's mission as a drum computer and rhythmic sampler. Rather than trying to be everything to everyone, it excels at what it's designed for, taking samples and turning them into compelling rhythmic arrangements. The Tonverk's 4-machine system represents a fundamental shift in how Elektron thinks about sampling. Each machine serves a specific purpose, and understanding these differences is key to unlocking the Tonverk's potential. The single-player machine handles traditional sample playback, but with full polyphonic capabilities. Load a single sample and play it like a keyboard instrument across the full range. The multiplayer machine is where things get really interesting. It's designed for velocity-layered multi-samples that respond dynamically to how hard you play. The Subtracks machine is perhaps the most innovative. It gives you 8 monophonic sample players within a single track, each with its own sample and sequencer. Finally, the MIDI machine turns any track into a comprehensive external sequencer. Let's spend a moment on the Subtracks concept because it's genuinely revolutionary. Imagine having a full drum kit where each piece, kick, snare, hi-hat, crash lives on its own subtrack within a single main track. Each subtrack has its own sample, its own sequencer, and its own parameter controls, but they all share the main track's effects and routing. This means you could have an entire drum kit on track 1, a bass line with multiple articulations on track 2, and a chord progression with different inversions on track 3. Suddenly, 8 tracks becomes much more than 8 tracks. It becomes a modular playground for complex musical ideas. The original Digitakt's modulation capabilities were good, but the Digitakt II takes things much further. With 3 assignable LFOs per track, you have enough modulation sources to create complex, evolving sounds that never feel static. What's particularly clever is the LFO to LFO modulation capability. LFO3 can modulate the other LFOs, creating complex, non-repeating modulation patterns that add organic feel to electronic sounds. The single and half cycle modes effectively turn these LFOs into additional envelope generators, expanding your sound design possibilities. The Tonverk approaches modulation with the systematic thoroughness you'd expect from a professional workstation. Each audio track gets 2 assignable LFOs plus 2 effect LFOs, along with an assignable envelope. But the modulation system extends beyond just the audio tracks. The bus and send tracks each get their own LFO pairs. This distributed approach to modulation means you can create complex, evolving soundscapes where different elements of your mix are constantly shifting and changing in relation to each other. It's not just about making individual sounds more interesting, it's about making the entire mix feel alive. The Digitakt II's filter system represents a significant upgrade from the original. The swappable filter architecture means each track can choose from 7 different filter types, each with its own character and purpose. The new multi-mode filter provides classic synthesizer-style filtering, while the Kuhn filters add metallic, resonant textures that can transform ordinary samples into otherworldly sounds. The Kuhn Plus filter, in particular, uses positive feedback to create pitch-tuned overtones that can turn percussive hits into melodic elements. The bass width filter acts as a variable bandpass that can focus on specific frequency ranges or open up to full spectrum, providing foundational tone shaping before the signal hits the main filter. The Tonverk takes a different approach to filtering, integrating filter processing throughout its signal path. Each track and subtrack gets its own filter. But these aren't just traditional synthesizer filters, they're effect-style processors that work within the larger routing matrix. This integration means filtering becomes part of the mixing process, rather than just a sound shaping tool. You can route filtered signals to different buses, apply different filtering to different parts of a multi-sample, and create complex frequency domain routing that would be impossible with traditional architectures. The Digitakt II's effects section focuses on essential tools implemented at high quality. The addition of chorus to the send effects complements the existing delay and reverb, providing the core spatial processing tools that most electronic music demands. The master compressor deserves special mention. It includes sidechain capabilities that allow for classic pumping effects where your kick drum can duck everything else in the mix. Individual tracks can be excluded from the master compressor, giving you precise control over which elements participate in the pumping effect. The Tonverk's 17 effect modules represent Elektron's most comprehensive effects section to date. Beyond traditional delays and reverbs, you get creative processors like infinite flanger, chrono pitch, and super void reverb that push into experimental territory. These aren't just more effects for the sake of having more. Each processor serves specific creative purposes and can be routed throughout the complex signal path. The warble effect alone opens up vintage tape-style modulation possibilities, while Dirt Shaper provides everything from subtle saturation to aggressive distortion. The Digitakt II maintains a linear signal flow that's easy to understand and predict. Audio flows from the sample source through the bass width filter, then to your chosen filter machine, through the amplifier stage, into panning, and finally to the effect sense and mix bus. This linear approach means you always know where you are in the signal chain and what each adjustment will do to your sound. It's particularly valuable during live performance when you need to make quick adjustments without thinking about complex routing scenarios. The Tonverk's modular routing system is where its professional aspirations really shine. Rather than a fixed signal path, you have a routing matrix that allows signals to travel between tracks, through buses, and via send effects in complex patterns. This flexibility comes with complexity. You can create routing scenarios that would be impossible on simpler machines. But you can also create routing scenarios that are confusing even to yourself. The key is understanding that this complexity serves a purpose, enabling mixing and processing workflows that mirror professional studio environments. The Digitakt II's connectivity strikes a balance between capability and simplicity. The balanced stereo outputs ensure professional signal quality, while the stereo inputs allow for easy sampling from external sources. The full complement of MIDI connections means it can serve as the brain of a hardware setup, and the USB connectivity enables both audio streaming and overbridge integration. The addition of overbridge support was a major milestone, allowing the Digitakt II to function as a multi-channel audio interface and enabling individual track recording in your DAW. This bridges the gap between hardware-focused and computer-based workflows. The Tonverk's connectivity reflects its workstation aspirations. 4 individual audio outputs mean you can route different tracks to different destinations, perhaps your drums to one channel strip and your melodic elements to another. The dual USB-C ports enable simultaneous computer connection and external storage. The SD card slot isn't just for backup, it's for live sample library access during performance. Load different libraries for different songs, or swap in specialized sample sets for different genres. This kind of flexibility is essential for professional touring and studio work. The Digitakt II excels at immediate, intuitive sampling. Connect an audio source, hit the sampling button, and you're recording. The interface is designed for speed. Capture a moment of inspiration and immediately start manipulating it. Internal resampling allows for complex layering and processing chains, while USB audio streaming opens up your computer as a source. This workflow philosophy prioritizes getting ideas down quickly. When inspiration strikes, you don't want to navigate complex menus or set up routing matrices. You want to capture and start creating immediately. The Tonverk offers 2 distinct sampling approaches, each serving different creative needs. The recorder mode provides the familiar Elektron sampling experience, straightforward, immediate, and perfect for capturing moments of inspiration. But the auto sampler represents something genuinely new in the hardware sampling world. Connect a MIDI instrument hardware or software, and the Tonverk will automatically capture multi-samples across the keyboard range with multiple velocity layers. This transforms monophonic hardware into polyphonic instruments and creates professional quality multi-samples without tedious manual work. Let's dive deeper into the auto sampler, because it's perhaps the Tonverk's most revolutionary feature. Imagine you have a monophonic analog synthesizer with a patch you absolutely love. Traditionally, you'd be limited to playing one note at a time, but with the auto sampler, you can automatically capture that patch across the entire keyboard range with multiple velocity layers. The process is almost magical. You set the parameters for how many notes and velocity layers you want, start the recording, and the Tonverk takes over. It sends MIDI notes to your instrument, records the responses, and automatically maps them across the keyboard. When it's done, you have a fully polyphonic, velocity-sensitive multi-sample of your monophonic hardware. The Digitakt II includes several features specifically designed for live performance. Control All mode allows you to adjust parameters across multiple tracks simultaneously, perfect for building tension during a performance. The new track exclusion feature means you can exempt certain elements, like your kick drum, from these global changes. Kit Perform mode, inspired by classic Machinedrum functionality, lets you experiment with your sounds during performance without overwriting the saved state. This means you can take creative risks on stage knowing you can always return to your original setup. The Tonverk's performance features reflect its melodic and harmonic focus. The arpeggiator provides classic electronic music sequencing patterns, while chord mode allows you to trigger full harmonies from single keys. The 36 scale modes ensure you can work in any musical context, from traditional Western scales to exotic world music modes. External keyboard integration is particularly sophisticated, allowing professional keyboard players to use their preferred controllers while taking advantage of the Tonverk's unique sampling and processing capabilities. The Digitakt II's interface represents the refinement of a proven design. The button layout, encoder placement, and screen organization follow the template established by the original Digitakt, which means existing users can be productive immediately. This familiarity is valuable when you're in the creative flow. You don't want to think about which button does what. The muscle memory built up with other Elektron devices transfers directly, allowing you to focus on music rather than interface navigation. The Tonverk's interface represents the first implementation of Elektron's new platform architecture. It's wider, more complex, and designed to accommodate the increased functionality. The button keyboard provides immediate melodic access, while the expanded encoder section handles the more complex parameter sets. This new interface will likely influence future Elektron releases, as it provides the foundation for more complex instruments while maintaining the hands-on, immediate feel that defines the brand. If you're already familiar with Elektron workflows, the Digitakt II will feel like coming home. Most concepts transfer directly from other Elektron devices, and the enhancements feel logical and intuitive. You'll be making music on day one and discovering deeper possibilities over time. The Tonverk presents a steeper learning curve, not because it's poorly designed, but because it introduces genuinely new concepts. The routing matrix, Subtracks system, and auto sampler all require time to understand and master. But this investment pays off in expanded creative possibilities that simply aren't available elsewhere. The Digitakt II shines in electronic music contexts. Whether you're making techno, house, drum and bass, or experimental electronic music, its focus on rhythmic manipulation and beat-making aligns perfectly with these genres' demands. The enhanced filter selection and modulation capabilities also make it capable in more melodic roles, but its heart remains rhythmic. It's the machine you reach for when you need compelling beats and want them fast. The Tonverk's polyphonic capabilities and sophisticated multi-sampling make it suitable for a much broader range of musical styles. Jazz, classical, world music, and other acoustic genres become accessible through its ability to create realistic multi-sampled instruments. This doesn't mean it can't handle electronic music. Its effects processing and modulation capabilities are extensive. But its strength lies in bridging the gap between electronic production techniques and traditional musical performance. With overbridge support, the Digitakt II integrates seamlessly into computer-based studios. Each track appears as a separate channel in your DAW, allowing for individual processing and recording. This makes it an excellent hybrid solution for producers who want hardware immediacy with software flexibility. The balanced outputs and professional connectivity mean it sits comfortably alongside other studio gear, while the MIDI capabilities allow it to sequence external instruments effectively. The Tonverk is designed from the ground up as a professional studio instrument. The 4 individual outputs allow for complex routing to external processing, while the sophisticated internal routing reduces the need for external mixing. The dual USB-C ports enable simultaneous computer connection and storage access. For producers working in professional environments, the Tonverk can serve as the centerpiece of a hybrid setup, bringing together hardware instruments, software processing, and advanced sampling capabilities in a single, cohesive workflow. Both machines benefit from Elektron's commitment to high-quality audio processing, but they have different sonic signatures. The Digitakt II retains the slightly gritty, characterful sound that made the original so popular. It's clean when you want it clean, but it has personality and warmth that adds life to digital samples. The Tonverk, being newer and more expensive, leans toward clinical accuracy and pristine quality. This serves its role as a multi-sampling workstation, where you want to preserve the character of the original instruments rather than adding coloration. Both machines reflect Elektron's reputation for solid construction. The Digitakt II uses the proven build methods that have made Elektron devices reliable performers in touring and studio environments. The buttons are responsive, the encoders are smooth, and the overall feel is professional. The Tonverk, being larger and more expensive, feels appropriately substantial. The wider form factor provides a stable platform, and the interface elements feel precise and professional grade. One advantage of choosing either machine is access to the extensive Elektron community. Years of user innovation with previous devices have created a wealth of tutorials, samples, and creative techniques that apply to both machines. The Digitakt II benefits from the established Digitakt community, while the Tonverk is building its own following of users exploring its unique capabilities. Elektron's commitment to long-term software support means both machines will continue evolving through OS updates. The Digitakt II represents the mature evolution of an established platform. While it will certainly receive OS updates and improvements, the core architecture is well established. This provides stability and predictability. What you buy today will remain relevant for years. The Tonverk launches the beginning of a new platform. As the first device in this series, it's likely that future releases will share its architecture and capabilities. Investing in the Tonverk means joining a platform that will likely expand significantly over the coming years. At $999, the Digitakt II offers exceptional value for producers focused on electronic music and beatmaking. You get professional-grade sequencing, high-quality effects, and the reliability of a proven platform. For many users, it provides everything needed for professional music production. The Tonverk's $1,600 price tag reflects its advanced capabilities and new platform technology. The auto sampler alone represents technology that doesn't exist elsewhere in the hardware world. For users who need its specific capabilities, the price becomes justifiable quickly. The choice between these machines ultimately comes down to understanding your creative priorities. If your music centers on beats, loops, and rhythmic manipulation, the Digitakt II provides a more focused and efficient path to your goals. If your interests lean towards sound design, multi-sampling, and complex harmonic work, the Tonverk opens up possibilities that simply aren't available elsewhere. The investment in learning its more complex systems pays off in expanded creative potential. Consider how you prefer to work. Do you value immediate results and intuitive operation? The Digitakt II's refined interface and familiar workflow support rapid creative iteration. Do you enjoy diving deep into complex systems and discovering unexpected possibilities? The Tonverk's modular approach rewards exploration and experimentation. Neither approach is better than the other. They serve different creative personalities and working styles. The $600 price difference between these machines isn't insignificant. For many producers, the Digitakt II provides all the capabilities they need at a more accessible price point. The additional cost of the Tonverk only makes sense if you'll actually use its advanced features. Consider also the total cost of ownership. Both machines may inspire you to acquire additional gear, samples, or accessories. Factor these potential future costs into your decision. Think about where your music might go in the future. The Digitakt II excels in its defined domain, but might become limiting if your interests expand into more complex harmonic work. The Tonverk provides room to grow into more sophisticated musical territory. Conversely, if you're certain that rhythmic electronic music is your focus, the Digitakt II's efficiency and immediacy might serve you better long-term than the Tonverk's complexity. In live performance, the Digitakt II's immediate interface and proven reliability make it an excellent choice for electronic acts. Its ability to handle both sample manipulation and MIDI sequencing makes it a potential centerpiece for hardware-based performances. The Tonverk shines in studio environments where its advanced capabilities can be fully explored. Its multi-sampling abilities make it valuable for composers and producers working across multiple genres, while its routing capabilities support complex mixing scenarios. Both machines exist in competitive markets. The Digitakt II competes with other advanced samplers and drum machines, but its combination of electron sequencing and enhanced capabilities makes it unique in its price range. The Tonverk enters relatively uncharted territory. Few hardware instruments offer comparable multi-sampling and auto-sampler capabilities, positioning it in a class largely by itself. This uniqueness justifies its premium pricing for users who need its specific capabilities. Long-term satisfaction with either machine depends on alignment between the device's strengths and your musical needs. Digitakt II owners consistently praise its reliability, immediacy, and musical results. The machine disappears into the background, allowing focus on creativity. Tonverk owners are likely to discover new capabilities years after purchase. Its complexity ensures a long learning curve, but also ensures that the machine remains interesting and inspiring over time. For professional producers and musicians, both machines offer different advantages. The Digitakt II's established reputation and widespread use make it a safe choice for professional environments. Clients and collaborators are likely to be familiar with its capabilities. The Tonverk's unique features might provide competitive advantages for professionals who can leverage its advanced capabilities. The auto-sampler, in particular, could streamline workflows that traditionally require expensive software and significant time investment. If you're new to Elektron devices and focused primarily on electronic music production, the Digitakt II provides an excellent entry point with room to grow. Its refined interface and proven capabilities offer immediate satisfaction with long-term potential. If you're an experienced user looking to push boundaries, or if your musical interests span multiple genres requiring sophisticated sampling, the Tonverk represents a significant step forward in hardware sampling technology. For users torn between the two, consider your immediate needs versus future aspirations, your budget constraints, and your willingness to invest time in learning complex systems. The Digitakt II and Tonverk represent two different visions of what modern sampling can be. The Digitakt II perfects the concept of the digital drum computer, taking everything that worked about the original and enhancing it for contemporary production needs. Its evolution at its finest, familiar enough to be immediately productive, advanced enough to remain inspiring. The Tonverk imagines a different future, where hardware samplers become sophisticated instruments capable of complex multi-sampling, polyphonic performance, and studio-grade signal processing. Its revolution disguised as evolution, using familiar Elektron concepts to enable entirely new ways of working. Neither machine is universally better than the other. They excel in different domains, serve different needs, and appeal to different working styles. The best choice is the one that aligns with your musical goals, creative process, and budget reality. What's most exciting is that both machines represent Elektron's continued commitment to pushing hardware music technology forward. Whether you choose the refined excellence of the Digitakt II or the pioneering capabilities of the Tonverk, you're participating in the ongoing evolution of electronic music creation. The future of music making is bright, and both of these machines will play important roles in shaping the sounds we'll hear in the years to come.